Hi guys, how are you? How are you? Welcome, welcome. This is Nicolene El-Hadad and I'm the host of the Business Lounge for those of you who have not seen me yet. And I'm super, super stoked to be here because I'm interviewing a beautiful, beautiful lady, Lee. She's going to hop on any minute now to share all the hurdles that she has juggled her life so far, but also to share her awesome business with you. So as she's hopping on, I want everybody to join us, please, for this amazing live. And please feel free to ask us any questions. And say hi. It's nice to know that we're not alone. And let me know how your Friday has been. It's always super excited. Hi, darling. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for coming in and chatting with me today. You and I have been
Thank
following each
you.
other for a little while, so I'm super stoked to be here. I absolutely just love your energy. Everything about you is so super special. And I know that you have such an awesome story to share today with everybody in here. And I always hope that like the universe guides the right people to watch the right videos in life, because there is a message that you have to share, and your story will definitely inspire someone else to get up from the couch and still go and do that thing that they've always wanted to do, because you've not had the easiest path in your life, and yet you are just extraordinary and still going every day. I'm loving it, but I'm going to be quiet now so that you can just share your story with us about where you are in life, what's happened in the past couple of years, but why you do what you do every day, so that we can learn from you. So go ahead.
So I am a web designer and consultant, and I absolutely love what I do. I feel like I don't work. I feel like I play. I really
Awesome.
don't feel like I work, which makes it even more fun. So I had some bad news delivered last year in January. I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer, and that's just not something that any woman wants to hear. And, the statistics are unbelievable. It's 1 out of every 8 women, unfortunately,
Sure.
gets to encounter this monster. I was really at the height of taking my business to that next level, and I had so many plans, and timing is never good with these things. So, it was kind of like somebody just slapped, in the face, and I was like, whoa, what am I going to do? How am I going to be? Am I going to be really sick? What am I going to do with my business? I'm a one-woman show, and I love it. I've been running my business for years, but those are the things that go through your head
Yeah.
when you get a diagnosis like that. I'm not one to ever get depressed ever. Like really, I just pick myself up and go. But this time, it really took me down, and I was pretty much down and out for about 2 months while I was trying to deal with all this thing and figure out how I was going to work. They told me I would have to go through all three procedures: chemo, radiation, and the surgery.
Wow.
That was even like, whoa, they couldn't I have one of three or two of three? They gave me all
Yeah.
three because it was aggressive.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
so yeah, it's okay. I went through this lumpectomy, and they were waiting for the scars and the body to heal until they were going to hit me with chemo. But it was the chemo that I was the most afraid of, because I've just heard so many stories and seen so many people go through it, and everyone handles it differently. But I never met anybody who said, "Oh, it was a breeze," So again, it's just very fearful, the unknown. And I'll never forget, when the first time I went into the room, you're sitting in a room with a bunch of people reclined, but they're all miserable and looking at the floor, and just like you're looking at around them, all you see is like, people just fighting for their life, and a lot of them pretty much knowing that it's coming to an end very soon, or just really at the end with stage 4. It was just so depressing to me. Like as hard as it was for me, I just sat there and said that I cannot. He likes my stories. I just sat there and said that I cannot let this get me down. Absolutely, I will not sit here for the next 8 weeks and be in this horrible state of mind. And I said, I'm just going to do something nobody else does in this room. I'm going to work. And I started bringing my laptop to every single chemo session. I have, my husband was like, I can't believe you, just relax, enjoy, sleep, do whatever people do in this room. And I said, no, I'm going to work. I don't want to look around me. I don't want to see what's going on. I don't want any part of this. I'm going to get better and I'm going to keep going with my plans. And so, yeah, he took pictures of me, sitting with my laptop. People around me looked at me like I was crazy. I was just working because I knew that each time I had chemo, I had it every 3 weeks. I had about 2 really horrible weeks of being sick and then 1 really good week. So I figured for the 8 hours I was sitting getting chemo, I'm just going to work. I told all my clients about my situation. I was, asking them to be patient with me. Whoever could not, there are just some people that I knew I wasn't going to be able to service. And it was amazing that most of my clients actually said that they were going to wait for me. I could not believe it. They were like, we've been with you for so long and we're going to, through all of it, we're going to be with you. I got candy, I got flowers from my clients.
Awesome. That's amazing.
There was just 2 clients.
But Lisa, I want to interrupt you. So do you actually get the chemo for 8 hours that you have to sit there in the chair?
The first 2 sessions were 8 hours, and then they were between 4 and 5 hours for the rest of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's intense. That's why I understand when you're saying that when you're in the space, you don't want to be surrounded by negativity or sadness, and it's no one's fault. I mean, that I think it comes with the package.
Right.
But yeah, that's a long time. It's not like I was under the impression it's a little bit long or a little bit shorter that you have to sit there. But if it's such a long time, I think that was brilliant for you to find another way to let your mind go somewhere else. I mean, other people would maybe want to read and that's fun for them. But I think that was very good for you. I think that's a good thing to get your mind focused off the problem that you can't really do anything about anyway yourself. You can just be there. So that's very, very clever of you. I think that was very good of you. Sorry, continue.
It's okay. It's just, it's kind of a geek thing to do, but I did it. I am a geek. I'm in tech. So yeah, it was just, it really helped get me through it because like I said, when you're just in a place where everybody's depressed, it really doesn't help you get out of it. And then even though everyone suggested that I should join groups, cancer groups, I thought that was the worst thing that I could do because it was going to be the same type of thing. Everybody talking about how horrible they feel. And again, that just wasn't for me. I just, and I'm not against it. I know people that it has helped.
But you. Yeah.
With my mindset, I just wanted to be out of it, finished, so yeah, that's it. I think 2 of my clients were probably, I had to pass them to somebody that I trust temporarily. And it's funny, they actually came back to me after. I thought I had lost them, but they said, nope, we're with you, and that's it. It was just such a good feeling to go through it knowing that people were behind me.
Yeah. Okay, so let us go back to when did you start your business? Like how long have you been in business doing graphic and all of that?
Graphic and web design, about 15 years.
Wow.
And I got into it by mistake, actually. It's not what I had planned.
Okay, what were you doing before that?
Well, I was always doing some sort of graphics, but I was doing it for, my husband and I used to work together, so I was just handling all the graphics for our company, and it was there was a trauma that I had in high school with programming. My father had made me take a programming class, and he said, I want you to do this. Computers are the future of the world. And I refused. I said, there's no way. Women don't do that. This was back in the 80s. There was no women in programming classes. So he forced me to do it. It was a traumatic experience. I was just like left and right. You don't belong here. This is all I heard. I flunked the class. It was just horrible. And the teacher said, you will never be in technology. Don't even try. Those were the words that stayed in my head all those years. So when my husband and I, fast forward, had a business, we needed a website. And he brought me an HTML book and said, you did this in high school. You could probably build us a website. And I just remember all this trauma flooding back to my head.
Yeah.
No, I can't do this. I was never good at it, telling myself all these things. And then it's funny because I actually looked at the book and I said, wow, I can probably do this. This isn't as bad as it was when I was in high school. So I started tinkering around and I built a website. I couldn't believe it. It wasn't as good as what I do today, obviously, but it was a website.
Yeah. Well, you have to have something to compare to, Lee. So it's good.
Yeah.
It's good that it was bad, because then today looks even more better.
I know. And it's so funny too, because I'll never forget, one of our clients at the time walked in, saw me working on a website, and he said, I didn't know you design websites. And I said, I don't. I just manage hours and that's it. And he goes, well, do you do it on the side? Because I need a website. And I was like, not really. But he goes, I'll pay you $1,500 to build my website. And I took it. Like,
wow.
Sure, why not? You know,
That's
and then I built his website. And then all of a sudden, friends and family got free websites because I was practicing, you know, back in the day. All of them got free jobs. By the way, till today, that still gets asked of me, but it's a no, harsh no.
Harsh no.
And yeah, you know, and then just kept doing it a little bit on the side, even though my husband and I ran a business. And then, you know, fast forward, we moved out here to LA about 15 years ago. And my husband ended up doing another business with a friend of his. And I was like, what about me? Where am I in this picture? And he goes, you need to start your own business and you know exactly what you need to do. So I was kind of like, really? Like, you really think I can run my own business? And he says, I know you can. So it was really cool because here you are now. I have a skill. How do I start a business? How do I do all this stuff? I had like no start your own business skills back then. So I just started joining local chamber of commerces, networking, you know, meeting a lot of people. It's all about meeting a lot of people because that's how you get your name out there.
Yeah.
I started doing some presentations and talking to people, and the rest is just kind of history. Just built and built, referral after referral. It was really amazing. Then I got asked to speak at local conferences, and that was really cool because after that, I really had people come up to me. After you kind of teach your expertise, it's just a good feeling that people come up to you and say, wow, that was intense. How do I learn more? And I was supposed to talk at a WordPress conference right before COVID hit. So that was my biggest yet, but it didn't happen.
It will. Everything will eventually, I believe, turn back to normal or some kind of form of normal. And then all of this will pick back up. But I think also this has given everybody an opportunity to build their online space as well. And now it has actually taught a lot of people to now you have to brag about what you do, because if you're used to talking to people face to face, you can't do that now. And you have to now do that, you know, like online and put more pictures out. And so it's been a huge experience for a lot of women that would never usually put themselves out like that. But I love that your husband was so forward and so lovingly, you know, supporting your idea, because I know a lot of women also struggle with that they don't have support or that people don't believe in them. And you're very blessed to have that. And it's great that you have this gift that you are good at, and now you're doing that today. So let us know, Lee, what is like a basic thing that you've seen people do on their websites, or things that like is a big no-no, like you really would suggest people maybe not do that if they're not like all clued up at all?
I think the biggest issue that I see is that people clutter their home pages because they're trying to get everything on there. And it's really not a good thing to do for a lot of reasons. Number one, it confuses Google as to what you do when you have so many different things on the page. And also it causes a very slow loading time. And that is the number one reason why people come off your website, is if your site is too slow to load.
Yes, that's true. No, I've heard that as well. And I heard that you must also test your site, and you must also, like not just do it once and then leave it. You must actually be quite into your own website all the time, and also check all the buttons and make sure everything links to where it needs to link. And it's funny because even if I'm on another site, if something doesn't work, you do easily leave. And actually, I sometimes remind myself, I'm like, no, maybe send them a message to say that the link doesn't work, because maybe they don't know. Like, to also be a little bit nice sometimes, because a lot of times things just don't work on the internet. It happens. But Lee, tell me what, except now for your recent experience, and I know you're doing much better now, but what generally motivates you to get up and just keep pushing your business forward and coming up with new ideas? And because you're creative, I mean, that's your job. So you have to always, reinvent yourself almost, because you need to keep up with what's happening. But what motivates you to keep just going every single day?
Oh, what motivates me? I mean, everything actually motivates me. I'm just really motivated by everything. But if I had to say, helping people, the idea of helping people, because I have so many people coming to me, either, with a website that they just had a startup business and they just either tried to do it themselves and they're like crying for help and they said, I really can't do this and I want to get my business to that next level, you know, or even businesses that, let's say, hired the wrong person, because I hear this very, very much too, and they did such a bad job, and these people are just very, very upset and they're embarrassed to show their website. So that's a huge motivator for me, because like I know that, you know, once I sit and talk with them and get their vision, I can take them to that next level, and they already leave the meeting excited. So that really, really motivates me to get on it.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you have a specific ideal client that you work with, like a specific group or a woman or men, or is it generally everybody, or is there something that you do like or prefer a little bit more?
Well, I love obviously helping my fellow women. You know, I do believe we all need to support each other, but I mean, I work with small individual mom and pop shops, large companies, nonprofits. I work with anybody, but you know, I do have a liking to really help women in business.
Yeah, but it's also good that you have such a wide experience as well, because when someone does come to you now, even if they're starting out, you can already see where they can possibly go, which I also know is very important with websites, because you need to think bigger than just the home page sometimes. And that's good that you have that experience to share that with them. Lee, is there someone that you're following at the moment, like a podcast or a book that you like to read, like a writer or an author that's, you know, just someone that's really, you know, even if it's just for fun, like you go there to just have your joy time?
Not anybody in particular, but I have basically signed up for every single geek newsletter out there, because it's very important to stay on top of it. And web design is just a constantly changing industry, literally constantly changes. And if we don't stay on top of it, we can't advise our clients properly.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Lee, what is your least favorite thing to do on a website? Like if a client asks you, you're like, oh no, you shouldn't do that. Or, oh, is there anything that you don't like in your job?
Even though I do coding, I hate it. I really am a design person. So, and it's not because of the trauma that I had in high school, because I'm past it. I know I can do it. I just don't like doing it. So, you know, if somebody needs something custom like that, I do have to get into the coding mode.
Yeah, because it's very different. And for those who don't understand, is coding is usually when you're doing something from scratch, correct? Like if you build a site literally from scratch, and if you do something with template version, then it's obviously a little bit easier. It's much faster for you guys to do that for us. And I know that I've seen a lot of videos where they say, oh, it's so easy, you can just do it here. But I've tried it myself, and I'm like, I'm clicking here and it's not doing what the woman in the YouTube video is saying. So it's very funny. But I'm really a true believer that at this point in my different businesses that I do, that I would rather pay someone who does something all day long, who's going to do it so much faster and so much better than me. I would rather just pay them to get that done for me. And I know a lot of times in the beginning you don't have the funds for it, and that's why people try it. But it's also, I think it's sometimes good to test the waters by yourself, so that you also respect the person that is actually doing it now for you, because it is a talent. And I think what you guys are doing when you're creative people like this, it is absolutely amazing. I mean, I see websites, you know, move and shape and change color, and it's so beautiful. And to you guys, it's all stuff that happens in the back office, you know, like stuff that we coding, like we don't understand anything about it, but it is. And that's why you need those geeky sites that you connect to, so that you can stay with that. Lee, what is the future plans for you in the next 5 years? What have you got planned? What do you want to do with your business? Is there anything special going on?
Well, there is actually, and this was what I had planned on starting right before I had the cancer, was I've never really been big online. Like 99% of my business was all between local networking, and not that it's a problem. LA is very huge, but I decided I'm going to take this online.
Yeah.
So I'm working on designing a course right now that I hope to get out within the next month. I opened my Facebook group where I actually help people with web design tips and tricks and all these things. I just said, I really need to push the online. It's that time. And actually, here's the little black book that I kept while I was in the chemo room.
You see, and that motivates you to just keep going, because now it's all those dreams that you had. Now you can actually implement it. That is fantastic. So just tell me, Lee, the people that would be going or would be interested in your course, would that be someone that just wants to learn how to do their own website, or is it also new web designers? Because I also know that experience comes with years. So would that also be the entry-level web guys, or is this more for people like myself who wants to learn to do it myself?
It's definitely geared more towards the end user, but you just gave me a great idea, because maybe eventually I will do that. So thank you.
No, the reason I'm saying is because I always think like that. I always think that there's someone like you, literally 5 or 10 years ago. And there is so much that you can teach that person to catch up faster and not take them 10 years to know what you already know. So there's definitely a market in that, where it's people that's just entry level, giving them some ideas, even teaching some of them how to do a course online so that they can also sell a course. There is so much, like, we should just talk. We should just have another call, because there's so much that you can do.
I know, that's so cool.
I love that. I've also seen someone before with graphics. They've done, and this is purely for, it would be just for the graphics people, to do like live Zoom training, so that we would buy like a once-off session. So let's say it's like $30. I don't know how much they would charge, but then you would teach them like an actual, when you do a plugin on a let's say WordPress site, but you would do a specific plugin, and then you show them the actual features of the plugin, because apparently, and I don't know much about this as much as I've learned, but there is so much that you can do on sites that people don't even know about. I mean, apparently there's like thousands of plugins. So if you don't know, and you also need to know that which ones don't work together. So I know that there's also an opportunity to actually do live training, showing people what to do, and to just teach what you know. I mean, the way you maybe put things together, or the way you think fonts and colors don't go together for a specific clientele. People that are new to the industry don't know that yet. Right? You might meet me and go, Nicolene, these are your colors, honey. I can just tell this is your type of font. Whereas someone else that's also doing what you do will go, oh my goodness, how do you know that? Like, but that's because of experience. So there, go, Lee, that's another course. You should design like how to help them pick stuff for their client, because it's like you said earlier, when you have a meeting with your clients and you get them excited because they can see in their mind's eye how you're going to change their website. That's what graphics people should do. And some people in the graphics world that I've met, they're quite shy. They're quite introverted people, and they're not very big on selling. They don't like to upsell themselves. They'll do whatever people ask them to do, but in general, they're not braggy type of people. So it is really something that they should learn to do, because you guys are awesome at what you do. I mean, you guys have such a talent to make such beautiful things, where we just have to look and say thank you, because that's all that we can do.
Well, one of my most exciting, it's funny you should mention about the color, because in the group I do live trainings every single Thursday, and one of them I did a few weeks ago was about the psychology of color. I had like 20 people call or DM me saying, I had no clue, and I'm changing my logo now, because, simple things like people don't know that the color orange actually increases appetite, which is why a lot of fast food places use, certain colors. There's like a whole science behind that. So when I show those color charts to people and the emotions that it invokes, they're like blown away.
And it's those things that are important, because it doesn't help you have a beautiful website in your own opinion, but it reflects opposite messages maybe, or like you said, if your home page or your about page is so busy, because yes, you have so much to say, but it's actually distracting the reader. People need to be honest and, at least do that. So, if you ladies are watching this, you should definitely get Lee to do like maybe an audit on your site and just give you some feedback, because one small change, a font color or a font, different font using, can make a massive change for your website. Like just updating some pictures. I know like a lot of people have old things on there, and it's actually something that you could change very easily, quite frequently, just to keep up with things. Lee, has there anything that you've done in your business that was a big mistake, but you've definitely learned from it, and it's something that you don't want us to do?
Big mistake. Let's see. Getting the wrong hosting company. I just cannot stress enough not to go with a cheap hosting company, because you can have the best and the fastest site in the world. If you go with those cheap hosting companies, you are going to have so many issues with your website. And I've seen it, like contact forms not working, or emails not getting through, or they load so many websites on one server that all of a sudden you have a fast website, but because the server is slow, it's not going to load fast at all. So never go with a cheap hosting.
Yeah, that's good advice. That's true. And again, it's also something that we won't know. You know what I mean? Like you would go and you would just go, oh, their
Correct.
price is good, because unfortunately, all these monthly subscriptions, you're trying to keep everything limited, and as low as possible. But yeah, I think this is where the graphics people and the web designers really need to give their honest opinion also, and say, you've just spent this much money on making the website, at least, spend the extra bucks and have it hosted somewhere where it's a beautiful, and safe place for it to be as well. Lee, is there
Yes.
any specials that you're running at the moment, except for your courses coming out soon, or how can people get in touch with you so you can help them out?
Well, I definitely have my group. I would love to see anybody if they want to Google it, or Facebook Google it. It's called Web Design Tips and Tricks.
Okay.
I also do free web consultations, so I'll be happy to do a 15-minute audit of the website. A lot of times I can pick out a few things right there. And for people who really don't want to, use my services to build the entire website, I offer hourly packages just for, consult for DIY, just if you want to pick my brain.
Yes. No, I think that's perfect. I'm going to ask Mika to put all your links inside this thread so people can check out what you're doing. But I also know that you're very active in the group, so I love that. And I want you to encourage you to go and actually maybe show us, come and brag about some of the websites that you've done so that people can relate. And I would definitely encourage you to do that mood board with the colors thing maybe again. Like, I don't know if you want to do like an event or something inside the group, but I really would suggest you advertise it so they can go over to your group and then do that again, because I think now that people know your story and how important the color even is on a website, you'll get more people to join in next time, which is really good. And I would really like to encourage them to do that with you. Yeah, no, whatever we can do to help you grow your business is awesome. But thank you so much, Lee, for being here. Thank you for sharing your story. I absolutely love you. You're such an angel. And I wish you all the best. And I will, continue seeing you in the groups. And I hope you have a brilliant day.
You as well. Thank you. It was nice to be here.
Thank you, darling. I'll speak to you later. Bye-bye.